Hi guys, welcome to the channel. What I wanted to do is take a few minutes today and talk about hard baits. Now most of us throw plastics 90% of the time, which is justifiable because they're awesome at catching fish. But I also love to throw hard baits when the opportunity presents itself. Now what am I talking about? Talking about crankbait, topwater, those sorts of things. Now what I want to do is I want to share 3 baits that I use pretty routinely and that I have been successful with catching striped bass here in the mid-Atlantic area, really throughout Maryland and down into Virginia. So what I want to do is I want to share those with you, and you're probably going to be surprised that what I'm going to show you, and hopefully you can utilize some of these baits as well and find the same success that I have. So we'll be right back. So here is my box that I carry with me every day. And there's lots of baits in here that do lots of different things. And some of them I use pretty routinely, and others are things that I have bought because I would like to try them. So I'm constantly trying to find different ways to do the same thing, and in a lot of cases to do different things under different circumstances. So what I wanted to do was just share a few of my favorites that if I open the box, my first grab, or the first thing I go for in a few different situations. So the first one I want to go over is topwater. Of course, everybody loves to throw topwater. And this is a wonderful topwater bait. This is a cotton cordell pencil popper that I have recently replaced the hooks on again for the second time. These are VMC 3.0 wide gap circle hooks, and they are beautiful hooks, super sharp, very durable, and I love them. But anyway, the popper, like we said, is a cotton cordell pencil popper, and it casts a mile. This thing actually, it's unbelievable how far it'll cast, especially on a bait caster. Absolutely love the distance. Another thing I love is the color, because of the traditional black back. We see it a lot going to the green, and then of course very bright silver and sort of a flecked sort of finish on the end. Another thing I love about this bait is the fact that it has really a great rattle to it. It's kind of a low pitch rattle. Real throaty, at least that's kind of the way that I describe it. But anyway, rockfish really respond to this. Now, when you throw it, you can either walk the dog traditionally, and it walks the dog absolutely beautifully. This thing glides through the water. I don't know how it could glide any easier than it does. It's actually very fisherman friendly when it comes to that. You do not have to have great walk the dog technique to be successful in walking this bait. Another thing, of course, is the front. The front is cupped, so we not only get walk the dog, we also get a popper sort of action as well, and sound as well, depending on how you work it. Even when you're walking it, you do get some pop in that front. This is a great bait, especially what I found is targeting fish very early in the morning. On points, bigger fish really respond to this bait quite well. So this would be my #1 go-to in the morning on that topwater bite. Next bait I want to go over is something that I talked about in the other video just a little bit, and that is wake baits. This particular wake bait, and really most of what I have here are 6th Sense wake baits. And you can see this one's pretty chewed up. She had a rough year. Rockfish really took to these very well. And you see, it's not your traditional saltwater or brackish water style of bait. It's not long, you know, like we see with X-Wraps and things like that. It looks more like a bass bait, you know, a largemouth bait. You know, I've had guys ask me or, you know, say to me, God, you really catch rockfish with that. Well, yeah, I really do. It has a very violent side-to-side walk the dog motion because the bill that we see here is almost vertically straight down, and the bait floats on the top. So when you retrieve it, it has a natural walk the dog motion that is pretty radical. It's pretty erratic. Again, not a lot of rattle, but just enough rattle for it to respond. These baits were originally, where I found out about them was looking at YouTube, right? Just like most of us do. These are used in Texas on the grass flats because they run very shallow. If you throw this bait and you hold the rod tip up, this bait will run directly on top of the water column, right on the top, just like a walk the dog. If you drop the rod tip, it'll drop down about a foot. So you really have a lot of variance in how you can present this bait, you know, based on the water depth as well as the grass. Now these baits here are the same, but these are wake baits, but these are 80Xs. And what that means is that we now have this is now coming out a little bit more, so this bait is going to run a little bit deeper. And you can see she's been chewed on a little bit too. This will run about a foot. And again, the same thing. If you raise the rod tip up a little bit, it'll come up. If you lower the rod tip, it'll come down. Both of these baits are very, very good, and I've found them very, very effective over grass flats. And the 80 and the regular wake is very good in the morning and using it just like a topwater. Originally bought these thinking of trout. Well, turns out rockfish love these, and I've had very, very good success with rockfish on these. And these are, the Sixth Sense are beautifully finished baits, so they have a beautiful shine to them, as you can see. Yozuri also makes a wake bait, not as big as the Sixth Sense bait, but this was also very effective as well. I sort of like the color in this. It's certainly not, it doesn't have the elaborate finish that the other one does, but was very, very effective. So the last thing I wanted to share with you was basically a Shadowwrap, a wrapless Shadowwrap, which again, we associate it not with brackish water and stripers, rockfish, but with bass. The Shadowwrap comes really in two models. The model here we have here is the model that will suspend and rise in the water column. The model that we have here on top, we will throw this in a little bit deeper water because this will suspend and drop. So if I'm in, say, 4 feet of water, I'm probably going to be throwing this, and then I'm going to be jerking it up just a little bit to keep it suspended in that water column and moving up and down. This is going to suspend itself, so I would probably be jerking this down, and then it will be suspending on itself. Now, this this color is really good. This is a pretty, you know, if you read anything about these baits and what guys who use these, this color is very effective, and I have found the same thing. So I really carry 3 of these, and this is the ripstop in the same color. So I really love this color a lot. It's been very effective. And the ripstop is very good in really shallow water. And so you can probably run this in about 2 feet. I would say you could probably go 3 feet here and probably anything 4 or deeper in this because this one is going to sink. Great bait, but again, traditionally considered a bass bait. The other color that I carry that I really use a lot is basically this for Rapala. This is just silver, and it's black back and has silver on the sides. And this bait really flashes well when you have some bright sun, clear water. This thing really darts in and out. So if I'm going to reach into the box, given the correct situation or any given situation, those are the baits that I'm going to be looking at first. So what I want to do is I want to hear from you guys. What are your favorite go-to hard baits? What situations do you use them? How did you come about knowing about them? You know, we're all here to learn and to share and teaching each other, and that's sort of the reason that we do this. So what I'd like you to do is, number one, if you like what you've seen, please like the page, because we're going to be doing our best to put out great, not just you know, a guy catching fish, but informative contact, because we want to teach and share and be shared with back. So if you like what you see, please like the channel, please subscribe, and again, you can also find us on Facebook under the same name, Current Break Kayak Fishing, and we're going to do our best to keep getting you guys great informative content throughout the rest of the year. So thank you.